Okay, I want to start off apologizing for going over this in class, and I didn't have my notes with me, so I was trying to get through it and got myself a little turned around. So I just want to go back through this question from the quiz to make sure that we all kind of see what's going on here. So the big picture is, again, starting at the end, we're going to say that if Cheddar's wishes to lower the price to $4, you predict that all other factors are going to be the same, so you're going to look for the number of chicken Oriental salads that are going to be sold once we make this price change. So we know that if we decrease the price, obviously we're going to increase the numbers of individual items that we're going to sell. We need to determine by how much. So you know for sure that this 420 here is going to be out, because that would be a decrease, and we know that there's going to be an increase if you decrease lower the price. We know that the elasticity is negative 0.8, so we're going to have to plug that in. So let's go ahead and get started with the equation. We know that our point elasticity, own price elasticity, is negative 0.8, and that's going to be equal to, and here's our normal formula for coming up with own price elasticity. Just think about what that formula means, though. It means that for every 1% change in price, what percent change are we going to have on the other side? Okay, so that's for every 1%. What are we going to have? So we go down through. We don't know what this is. This is what we're going to be looking for. So we'll come down here, and we know that the percent change in price I have calculated here at 20%. How did I do that? I just had 500 to 400. So I had $4 is where we're going to be. $5 is where we started. So we know that we have a decrease of 20%. You could take a look and say, just divide this and this and say, okay, well, that's 84 is 80% of 5. And that means that we gave up 20%. But anyway, here's our 0.2%. If we go to the percent change in quantity, we still don't know that for sure. So we had it inside the working portion of the equation. Now we're going to move that out as to be the final product that we're looking for, and we move that own price elasticity into the middle of the question, and we change the sign to multiply. So at this point, we say, okay, well, here we have 20%, and here we have 0.8, is it negative 0.8, negative 20%. So we say that our percent change in quantity is going to be equal to, and this is just a simple division problem. So, multiplication problem. We got 0.8 times, negative 0.8 times negative 0.2. That comes up with 16. So that 16 is not our final answer. That's our 16 per 100. We get 16 of them per cent per 100. Well, how many do we have total in the beginning? We had 500. So if that's 500%, we're going to have to multiply this number by 5. So you can see that as I added this up to the percent per 100, we now know that we have 16 of those. So 16 times 5, that's going to be the same as this times, right, where we were. So 16 times 5 is going to be 80. Now that 80 is the physical number that it's going to increase. So we just add that 80 back to the original 500, and that's how we ended up with 580. So it's easy to kind of get off on a tangent. The key is to stick to the steps, and that's something we didn't do today. In class, we had to go back to and check those steps. So start out in the beginning. Start with your initial equation. Go ahead and plug in what you know. Solve for what you do not know. And then make sure you go back and take a look at that and say, okay, well, I didn't only sell 80. I increased my sales by 80, which you would totally expect to be the case. Any additional questions, make sure you send me an email.